gone into music. But what happened was that, you know, years after his passing, I was looking for a way to kind of express myself. You know, I had all these feelings inside. I didn't really feel like I had many people to talk to about it, you know. Sometimes family is too close in them scenarios, do you know what I mean? You almost want a friend or someone or something to vent your frustrations and vent your feelings to. And I actually started like keeping a diary and just writing down the way I felt about certain things in life and certain things that had happened and that kind of thing. And eventually I started to really randomly just rhyme some of the words that were within this diary. And from then I rhymed everything. And that's kind of how I started out, you know, just with a book and a pen.
Now, with that, because that happened before, do you, with that diary, are you using those currently in your songs, or are you using those mostly kind of for inspiration and then kind of bouncing off of that?
It's funny you said that, actually, because I used the line in my next single, which was like it was like a part of a line that was the first song I'd ever written, if you like, within this diary. And in the end I didn't actually even use it, but I went to use it, and that was the point, do you know what I mean? But I don't really, to be honest with you, but it's great to look back on these things and to kind of see where my head was at that time. You know, the rhymes were quite simple and funny at times, and you know, it showed my age a lot of the time, I guess. But I love looking back on that, because that's what made me where I am now. Do you know what I mean?
I do understand that. So now with that, what kind of I mean, we've had some great you know, you and Kelly Brooks, you and Sam Hadfield. What other collaborations can we look forward to?
Well, my next single, which I've not really spoken a lot about, and I say my next single, it's not going to be my next single, I don't think, but the song that I've just finished that no one knows about is called Fireman, and it features Lisa Ambrose, who you may know is featured on many of my other tracks, and she's a fantastic singer, I think. And the Fireman track we're really so excited about. It's been produced by Sam Hadfield, and we're so excited about it. I don't think I've ever been as excited about one song as I am this song. And we're planning to do a music video and stuff for it, but with all that, you know, it does hold things up, so people are going to have to sit tight and wait for Fireman a little bit, and I'll actually have another track coming through which isn't finished yet, but will probably be the track that people hear next, you know what I mean, before Fireman. Cool.
Well, I look forward to it. I mean, like I said, you know my email, so anything you send me, I'll definitely put up and play and give a shout out. You know, you're always welcome to come by and check stuff out. So let's talk about your success on social media. As I was kind of looking around, you've got over 100,000 plays. And again, as an independent artist, you know, you've done that on your own. So, hey, to another guy who's just starting out, maybe got 3, 5, 10 plays and is trying to boost himself out, you got any advice that you would give someone like that?
Yeah, I'd say don't do it. Don't do it.
I'd have to, yeah, I agree on that on a lot of levels, even joking and seriously, but yeah.
No, you know, it's a really good question, but I think that the answer is someone starting out needs to ask themselves, what do they want from this? Do you know what I mean? If it's a hobby, then great. Keep it as your hobby, have fun and enjoy yourself. If it's not a hobby and you want it to go somewhere, and you really want it to go somewhere, then you kind of have to sit back and look at what you're doing, because the trouble is with today with technology is everyone's got their home set up now. You know, you don't have to go to a studio and pay £20 an hour or £30 an hour for studio time. You know, you've got studio time now in your bedroom or wherever it may be. Do you know what I mean? And that means that so many people are putting out music, and not only so many people are putting out music, so many people are putting out great music. You know what I mean? So it's not just about making the track anymore, it's about what you're going to do with that track. What are you going to do that's different to the next person? And I think that, you know, I've got a hell of a long way to go myself, but some of the success that I've had has been down to thinking outside the box and doing things that other people aren't, and just so much dedication to it, you know. Like I said to you earlier, with the whole package, trying to get this professional, that professional. I wouldn't do the artwork myself. Imagine my brand if I did my website myself, want the artwork myself, did some of the mixing on the tracks myself. You know, all of a sudden things are starting to fall apart. Do you know what I mean? So I've got so many people in place, and I think that today musicians may think it's about, you know, just record your song as rough as you can, sling it on SoundCloud and hope for the best. But unfortunately, there's so much more to it than that.
Yeah, actually, I'm glad you touched on that as well, because, yeah, it is so much more than that, because, you know, I mean, even with things like SEO and stuff, and it's like, you know, your page sometimes may only get one chance with an artist who may just be flipping past, may do a search. And if your page isn't ready, they may see someone else and find another artist. They may not ever do that search again, or, they may not, they may not tell anybody about it. They may, it's a lot of things, and it's not, everything kind of has to be in alignment for things to work. And when they do, it's great. But when it's not, it's everything's kind of haphazard out there. And it is a lot of work and things behind the scenes. I mean, it is amazing because there are so many home studios and home recording setups. I mean, you can actually, because I'm able to do podcasts, I've got a whole portable setup, but I find sometimes the easiest way, like I've got a whole portable recorder, mics and everything I need, but a lot of times just out of simplicity or because something is happening right then and there, I can podcast from my phone. So it's like everything that I have that's above that level, it's like, well, what do I need this stuff for when now this one device does everything? And you forget that in your head that, well, it does it, but it doesn't mean that it does it well. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's interesting some of the things you said as well. I'm very conscious about things that people don't really think about, like, for example, when someone listens to your track, they're not really, the trouble with music is they're not really engaged, unless there's a music video that they can sit and watch it, do you know what I mean? Often nowadays, someone presses play and they're scrolling through your page, looking at your pictures or looking at what someone else wrote, or maybe even opening up another web page, doing some shopping or whatever it may be, and they're not really engaged in the music. And for that reason, you'll notice a lot of my songs, I tend to put the chorus at the start, which a lot of famous singers and rappers don't tend to do. And someone once argued with me, a producer said to me, oh, we don't have to do that. Nelly starts with his first verse, then he goes into the chorus. And my reply to that was, Nelly's there now. Do you know what I mean? Nelly can do whatever he wants. We are not. Do you know what I mean? Joe Bloggs down the road needs to put his chorus at the beginning to hope that people are going to listen to the verse afterwards. Do you know what I mean? Because people don't want to hear 3 minutes of rapping and then a little chorus at the end. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, see, that's actually, I'm glad you touched on that, because that's one thing. I don't want to get down on music, because every artist has its place, but a lot of music nowadays, and maybe that's one of the things that I find so refreshing about yours, is that it's a whole song. It's something to listen to. It's not a hook that's 3 words that's repeated. I've heard whole songs that have consisted maybe of 5 to 7 words, just kind of repeated. And it's like, again, with all of, and these are professional artists. These aren't the artists who are down recording on their Apple, their iMac at home. These are actual, going in the studio, big time producers are putting that music out. So it's like, with that influence, it's nice that someone still goes, hey, wait. And one of the things that I even discovered was that, even I fall victim to it at times. I can be busy doing something and start listening to a song, and I've only got a few minutes, and if it doesn't catch me, oh, sure, it's downloaded, it's on my phone someplace, but will I ever get back to it? Because I may not remember. Listening and hearing that hook in the beginning, it catches you. So it's like, man, and then, oh, wait, hey, that song. When I went back to looking and listened to it again, I already knew what the hook was, and that's what I was looking for. I didn't realize and even thinking, oh, I'm looking for In the Clouds. No, I'm looking for that song with In the Clouds in it, So, yeah, it actually did work out pretty well. So now let me ask, if there was one artist, dead or alive, you could record with, who would that be?
Tupac Shakur, 100%.
I love that answer. I think that's cool because, and the reason I think it's cool is because of the contrast. I just think that is totally cool, because here's that influence, but here's the music you produce. So you're, instead of saying I'm a Tupac fan and I make Tupac kind of music,
Yeah, I know what you're saying, totally. I mean, I think the reason is more deep than that, in a sense, because a lot of the reason why I love the guy so much is because I've watched so many DVDs about him. I feel like I almost know him because I'm so into the guy's music and into how he was as a person, and more so because I got a feeling that he was really real. Do you know what I mean? When you listen to a lot of rappers' interviews and stuff, it's almost like they want to be perfect and they want to seem so much bigger than perhaps they are. And I always got to feel like with Tupac, he would admit sometimes when he was wrong or when he made a mistake, or if he wasn't very good at something. He would often put himself down in certain aspects, and I felt that really kind of reached me. Do you know what I mean? Because many times he seemed like a normal person, and I kind of loved him for that, I suppose.
Yeah, I think that's really cool. I don't know if you've been following and hearing things as far as in the gossip world and stuff, but supposedly There's some old lyric books that he had and some CDs that are about to come up for auction, which is really interesting because I'm really looking forward to hearing what some of this is, because it's nice. Like you said, I like how you touched on the fact that he wasn't afraid to admit when he made a mistake, but whatever he did with full passion. So even, you know, and I don't fault anybody who runs down the wrong path. Sometimes you might figure it out, but listen, you took your heart and soul and you went to something you believed in. There's no better way to be, and Tupac was the epitome of that. Whether he was right or wrong, he definitely stood for what he believed in, you know? So it's nice because, you know, when a lot of people, when you hear, and that's another reason that I think that it's interesting is that choice is because a lot of people forget to look at someone like Tupac as that sort of icon. They look and just say, well, yeah, thug life, and they see a lot of the gangster stuff, and, you know, and it's like, well, yeah, but if you look a lot deeper and if you listen a lot deeper, there was a lot more there. So if you're only touching here on the surface, then you're missing so many other layers down below that. You know what I mean? And it's you know, it's you know, that's a great individual amongst great individuals. You know, I don't put him above or below anybody else for what he does, but Tupac is definitely the man.
And I feel like how many of his songs were concept songs? You know what I mean? A lot of his songs were songs that he really believed in, and songs that were a part of him, and it's inspired me in the sense of, as we mentioned earlier, it hasn't inspired me to be like Tupac and to write music like him, but it's inspired me to be real with myself and to write about things that I'm going through. And I honestly feel like with my music that there's no better way for someone to get to know me than to listen to my song.
Every silly piece of me, enough is enough. Do what I never had the guts to do.
Drove me out the door, wheels spinning down the road. I have dreamed of those tire screens more than you would know. These are dire scenes, you define just what a liar means. It's like I never met you when I read your diaries. Every time I turned the page, I turned away. Before reading hurtful things I'd never heard you say. You mastered so many games I'd never learned to play, and for discretion went above and beyond by bird to prey. What's his name and how'd you meet him? All the answers now I'm reading. You don't know how I'm feeling, stoop so low. Now you're kneeling, hell no, there's no doubt I'm leaving. Pack my bags, I'm out this evening. Do not ask me why, because I keep on losing camera reasons. Cut me off like you had me stuck underneath the guillotine. Ripped my heart out from my chest, smashed it up to smithereens. I pictured you and him every single time we touched hands, dropping to my knees without a Russian dustpan.
Every silly piece of me, now enough is enough. Do what I never had the guts to do, and I'm leaving back up. Every silly piece of me, I'm stuck in a rut. Smile was never enough for you.
Now our friends are taking sides, jury's up what they decide. Some are choosing you too. Tell me why I ain't surprised. Must have had some great advice. How can you sleep late at night? With brainwashing you could make new best friends out of mates of mine. She's a nice looking girl, but her looks are deceiving. From believing every word I was reading, I'm internally bleeding. Feeling so naive, her lane knows when concerning me. Even change her name to misleading. Thinking you could buy time, you never knew what I'd find. I think I'm losing my mind. Give each other high fives. I'm writing this with dry eyes, moving on with my life. But don't forget the close you'll get to heaven is a skydive. Cause you kept your cut too close to your chest. Should've guessed, you confessed in a mess when I left, yes. You and your new man is who I gotta thank. When I lost my bottle, you two drove me to the bottle bank.
Every silly piece of me, now enough is enough. Do what I never had the guts to do, and I'm leaving back up. Every silly piece of me, I'm stuck in a rut. Smile was never enough for you.
Can't believe just how long you have been unfaithful. A player with a poker face and cards under the table is shameful. To a devil from an angel, you've acted like a child, but your games were never playful. Unable to see just how much you mean to me, cause I had the decency to open up immediately. Not keeping from you secretly, you did it all so easily. I seem to be still dropping to my knees, I need